relation to our bronze turkeys, yeah? Well, now we're getting them ready for service, okay? So we have our legs that you saw us bone and roll here. We've got our turkey crowns here ready to go into the oven, but we're not going to put them into the oven. Just getting back into these bronze turkeys now. What I want to do is, I'm going to get this turkey ready for roasting, alright? Now, the first thing that I want to do is the stuffing that's going to be going with this basically is a sage and onion stuffing. Now, what I've done here is I've created a little bit of a bouquet garni, alright? So we've got a fresh sage, we've got fresh thyme, we've fresh parsley. And that's going into the cavity of the bird, like so, alright? It's going to stay in there. Its only reason, and one reason only, is to perfume the flesh of the bird as it's cooking, alright? We don't care about, you know, it's nothing to do with presentation. It's not going to be served or anything to that effect. The reason that we're doing this is, again, you know, is to perfume the bird, alright? Perfume the flesh. So it's going in. We don't care about this in relation to presentation. We don't care about it in relation to, you know, anything to do with the finished product, alright? It's one reason, and one reason only, is to perfume the breast on the bird, alright? Now what we want to also do is, we want to, because it's a sage and onion stuffing, right, don't forget, we have to throw in our onion, alright? So what we're going to do here is, we're going to keep an onion in here. We're going to take a skewer. Now another tip as well, chefs, if you're using skewers in your restaurant, alright, wooden skewers, soak them before service, okay? Get them soaking in water, alright? It helps to prevent them burning during the actual cooking process when they're actually in a hot oven, alright, a dry oven. So remember, just to soak up the actual, to soak up the skewers. We're using wooden skewers here. So soak them in water. They'll soak in X amount of water, which will help to prevent burning while they're in the oven, alright? So anyway, back to this. So we've got our onion here, alright? What we want to do basically is just pierce the side of the bird here, and we're not piercing the breast, we're piercing the rib cage here, alright? So we're going to pierce the rib cage, run the skewer through, and the only reason we're doing this is to help that onion stay in place, which in turn is helping the bouquet garni that we did here stay in place, alright? So I was just going to literally straight through like so, alright? And just make sure that you can turn it slightly, and then push in all the way, and we have, there it is there, okay? So that's in like so, alright? So we're not finished prepping yet, okay? So first thing to do now is we are going to, as we all know, turkeys can be a dry bird, alright? So what you need to do is you need to help it along in relation to giving it a little bit of moisture during the cooking process, right? So what we want to do here is basically fix this skewer, obviously. Yeah, that's more secure. We've just run it through better there, okay? So that's in place. That's not going anywhere now. Anyway, like I said, going back to the actual keeping the flesh of the bird moist. Now, what I've done here is I've softened some butter, as you can see here, alright? It's just ordinary butter, nothing special about it, alright? What we want to do now is we want to get this bird up onto the butter, up onto the actual breast of the bird, and just make sure we give it a liberal coating of butter, okay? Now, a lot of people do it, can you know, rub the outside of the flesh like so, as you can see me doing here, alright? Now, the other way is to literally run your hand up the back of the skin and get the butter up under the skin and directly onto the breast, alright? Now, do no harm here the way we've done this at all. So we're going to literally just loosen off the skin here. If I can get my hand up. To this, so just make sure that you don't cut the actual breast, alright? Make sure that you actually cut the skin between the breast, alright? That's all I want there. I just want this to give me a little bit of a helping hand, okay? So just like so. Now you can see here now I've got my hands up under the skin. I'm going to work up like so. I don't want to really try and prise the skin out all the way. because what I want to do is I want to get some of the butter up under the skin here. Alright? Now chefs, you could also as well, and for those of you at home, you know, you could also run your stuffing up along the back here. Alright? If you were going to stuff the bird, you can run the stuffing up, and that's actually a classical French way of serving turkey, to be honest with you. Now, butter, I freed up the skin here. Alright? What I want to do is get the butter and run it up under the skin. Alright? So I'm just pushing the butter up here. Now what's happening is that when that's cooking, alright, it's just going to baste the skin, or the flesh, sorry, it's going to baste the breast of the bird, alright? So be liberal with it. Don't be afraid of it. So now we're going to do all the birds the same way, people, alright? So as I said, for those of you at home that are watching, this is also a very simple and straightforward, easy way to actually keep the bird moist, the flesh moist, while you're actually roasting it, okay? And don't completely, you know, cover the bird in butter. All it is, the butter is just an accompaniment, and it's an assistant to actually help maintain a moist flesh on the breast. Now you can see here I'm just running my fingers along the back of the bird, and I'm pushing and making that run right across the breast, alright? Now, the other thing as well is that we're not seasoning this bird. Why are we not seasoning the bird? Because I'll tell you why. Because A, there's salt in the butter, and B, you'll see in the next stage as well what we're going to do. Now we have that ready, alright? Now, back bacon, alright? Lovely back bacon. Here's what we're going to do now. This is the next stage, alright? We're going to coat the outside of the bird in the bacon, alright? And again, the bacon is going to serve as a basting agent. Why? Because again of the fat content in the bacon, alright? So again, we're not particularly going on presentation here. We're not worried about that because the bacon isn't going to be served with the bird, alright? And then the last one, just finally coating in this here. Now, as I said, that's the other reason why we didn't salt or season the bird, because of the salt that's in the bacon itself, yeah? The bacon is quite salty, so that's going to pass through as it's cooking in onto the bird itself. And that's it. So, people at home, you can do this and follow along exactly as we've done here, alright? You will find that it creates an excellent way to cook the bird, cook your turkey, and keep it moist, alright? Now, as we are literally, I would say, this bird is going to go in for about an hour and a half at about 185 degrees centigrade. The legs are going to go in for the same length of time. Now again, don't forget, we've already seasoned, we've already stuffed these legs. These legs are ready to go, right? It's an excellent way to cook the bird, okay? They're going, as I said, they're going in for about an hour and a half because the weight of this bird is around about, now we got it in, it was about a 14-pound bird. Now what we're left with here, the crown is approximately, that crown is around about 6 to 8, about 7 pounds in weight, alright? So, going in at 185 degrees centigrade for approximately an hour and a half to an hour and 40 minutes. We will come back and check the bird then. And the last thing for people at home is if you want to present the bird with a nice crispy skin, about 20 minutes before you finish cooking, you take the bird out and you remove the bacon. And then what happens is that the skin will crisp up and it'll go golden, obviously, because of the butter and the fat that's on the back of it, okay? So look, chefs, I'm going to keep on going here. We'll bring you back when we have the rest of them in and we're going to start cooking. Thanks, chefs. Talk to you soon. Boys and girls, welcome back. We're just in the process now of just finishing off the very last turkey here. Okay, so that is our 3 birds done. Now I'm going to leave the skewers in for, obviously when these are cooked I want to pull, so I'm not going to put the skewers. You can do whatever you want, but for ease of service we would leave the skewers in. Alright, so we have, as you can see here, all 3 birds are liberally coated in butter and bacon. Alright, these are going in, as I said, at 180 degrees, 185 degrees for about an hour and a half. They're going in like so. So we have adequate space here between those animals as well, between those birds. So that's it. These are going in now. The legs are going in now. We'll bring you back about halfway through the cooking process just to show you what the birds are like. Now the other thing as well is remember to baste the birds, okay? It does help with the moisture, so remember that please, the moisture content of when you're actually roasting the animal, yeah? So remember to baste, and we'll bring you back and we'll show you what we're like when we're basting. But that's it, these are going into the oven now. We have our oven set to 185. We want the birds in up here. Okay chefs, these birds are going in here now. Now again, make sure you have all of your bits and pieces well tucked in. The legs aren't going to take an hour and a half. The legs are probably going to take around about an hour. Now we'll check these at that particular stage, and how we'll check them is through both touch and also through probing. Okay? So we'll show you what that's like when we bring it back. So that's it chefs, these are going in now. As I said, I have my timer set for an hour and 40 minutes. I'm going to go back and check at the hour 20 mark, have a look. The temperature is 185.